It's been a morning, I tell you what. It's almost noon now. That being said, the more drying down that field does, the better, so I'm not that upset about it. But had to fix a barn door first thing this morning because I was putting some fuel cans away in the barn last night, and the door going into the basement of the bank barn, the service door, or man door, whatever you want to call it, fell off the top hinge. So I just kind of shoved it back up in the hole and latched it, and had to fix that this morning. And I got the 77, well, I put that video together this morning. I got the 77 unhooked from the mower and got the broadcast spreader put on it, so it's ready to go. I got, well, my sister's car was throwing trouble code, so I had to bring my code reader over, and we worked on that this morning. So it's been a morning, and it's hot and humid. I was not yesterday was hot, but it was pleasant. Today is hot, but it's muggy. I suppose I need to check the Earl in this thing. It should be fine. I didn't run it. It is not fine. Well, I guess before we get going, I gotta put some oil in this girl. 3208 things, they use oil. Alright, I'm hooked up to the mulcher, so let's get this show on the road. Getting back there is going to be fun. If the fuel cultivator fit, this should fit, but we'll find out. Alright, it fit. I had to come in a different way through the yard, but it fit. Luckily, this is the only thing this wide I have to bring back here, so because I don't want to mess up his yard any more than absolutely necessary. There is something to be said for keeping around all the small stuff that well, that moved. I don't think I carry a crescent wrench in here. I need to. I really need to at least get a crescent wrench for all of the main tractors, just to make life easier. Oh wait, what's this? That's a 3/4. I don't know where it came from or why it was in there. It's obviously been in the ground at some point. Look at that. Now, they're probably going to be rusted and not going to want to turn. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, well, I guess we'll do it all with this one. Just as long as I don't snap the U-bolt off, 'cause that's kind of a goofy special deal they got going on there. Well, that was handy. Alright, I have no clue where that came from. Try that. As long as it doesn't plug, we're good. Alright, there's that done. So now we can go home and grab the 77 and the spreader and actually get some seed on it, and then come back and pack it again. Go ahead and back up to the truck and throw the seed in here real quick. I'd really like to buy one of these spreaders. I think it'd be handy to have around, not just for doing this, but like say you get done with second cutting and you want to throw some fertilizer on the hay, you can throw 400 pounds of fertilizer in there, and with these small fields go spread some fertilizer. I think it'd be handy to have one around. Blend that I planted on the other field. It's that Wyckoff horse hay mix. I remember I had 6 different kinds of grasses and alfalfa, or 7 different kinds of grasses and alfalfa, or something like that. Good thing that we're back in them power line, or back in them trees in the power lines where there's not a whole lot of wind, because it's breezy enough today. Out in the open it'd be kind of hard to get a decent spread on this stuff otherwise. But I gotta put the dogs back in the house and we'll head back to the field. Okay, I got the gate set-ish. With this spreader, I set it light because I would almost rather make 2 passes over it and know that I got good coverage. So, or 2 or more, I don't really. And if I make the second pass, I usually offset my tracks a little bit just to make sure. So it worked on the last field, it ought to work on this field, right? Spreader's supposed to be set for 5 miles an hour. That's third gear wide open. Okay, everything's spread. Whether or not it's even, I don't know, but I made one pass over and then I offset my tracks one with the tractor, so I came back and ran. Well, that's me driving out. I came back, and so like I made a pass here and then I came back and had the front wheel, so I offset just to make sure we had decent coverage. Found another hunk of rebar sticking out of the ground underneath the tower, so got that pulled out. But should be good to come back and pack it back down, and this project will be over for the time being. Okay, we are back out here after a quick pit stop. I had to go to a buddy's place. He had a hog roast for his birthday, so I figured I needed to at least make an appearance. My initial thought on this was to run it with the tines down, just barely scratching. But as soft as 90% of this ground is, and as fluffy as it is, I think I'm just going to leave the tines all the way up and just run the packers and call it good. So that's the plan. And I'm also going to run a touch slower, because with this thing, the slower you run, the more it packs instead of pulverizing. The faster you run, it actually kind of keeps things fluffed up. So I'm going to come down a gear and drop a little RPM and just let it do its thing. Now that there is a satisfying job compared to what I started with, what was it, a month ago when I started working on this and did that first video of brush hogging, to now. Oh, that's incredibly satisfying to look at. So now we just need rain, make some of that stuff jump up out of the ground. And like I say, well, after we do get a rain and it washes off the rocks and stuff that are still up close to the surface, we'll come back over here with loader tractor or something and pick some rocks. I got most of the big ones. I stopped and picked up most of the big ones as I was going with that first pass with the mulcher, but there's still a few, like this guy right here, that are floating around, and they're all like this size. There is no small rocks out here. They're all I'm still having a hard time using that hand. Back during fair week, I was working on my boss's lawnmower. The deck needed a bunch of welding done, so I had it off and I had it laying on the bench, and I had to flip it over so I could weld on the bottom. And I didn't think I was doing anything out of the ordinary, but I had it by the the center roller was out of it, and it just had a bolt stuck through where the center, front roller goes, so I had a handle to pick up on, and I was grabbing onto it with this hand, and I had my other hand under the deck flipping it over, and I felt a pop right here in my wrist, and I didn't think nothing of it. I mean, it didn't hurt, it just made a pop. It's not like it sent a shocking pain down my arm or nothing, and I never felt nothing the rest of the day. I just figured it was a joint popped or something, had some air in it. And the next morning I woke up and I couldn't hardly move my damn hand, and I was able to get it to free up, moving it around during the morning, but it's not as bad as it was. But now still, if I move it a certain way or put too much weight on it, it sends a shocking pain in the joint. I don't know if I sprained it or dislocated. I mean, it never swelled up, it never nothing, it stayed the right size. It just, I don't know if I partially broke it. I don't know. I don't go to the doctor because I hate hospitals, so all they're gonna do is tell me that my wrist hurts. So anyhow, with this out of the way, man, I could look at this all day. This is just, that is a satisfying feeling, knowing that you took something that was completely unusable, just a mess of brush and down trees and nasty crap, and turned it into something like this. And the ponds add character. I think it looks cool with the ponds in it. I know a lot of people have come up with a bunch of convoluted ways of getting rid of them, but it's like, and don't get me wrong, if this was my property, and well, there's several things going against it, is why I don't screw with the ponds more than I do. First off, it's not my property, so there ain't no sense for a 2-acre hayfield to spend a bunch of time and money to try to get rid of those. Well, he wants to keep that one regardless. I wish he'd let me push that one shut and get rid of it, but as much water's in it, I don't think I would have ever gotten rid of it. I think that spot would have been the same as that spot. But anyway, so it's not my property, so there's no sense in doing that. It's just a little hayfield out back in the middle of nowhere. There's no good place to run the water to, and I'm not making any money off of the hay because this hay is for Shelly's mom, and I just give it to her. I mean, as of right now, the hay that I do is more A, she needs it, and B, I wanted some hay to do for fun because I like making hay. So there's no sense in dumping a bunch of money into this to fix those 2 wet holes to basically gain nothing out of it, other than not having a farm around them, because you wouldn't pick up that much more farmable ground out of it. Maybe 1/8 of an acre, maybe, if that. So yeah, the ponds can just stay, they're fine. Every farm needs a good pond. It adds to the picturesqueness. That being said, what would be neat, it would be completely impractical, but it would be neat, is to drop a sump pump in there and get 6 of those pipe mounted ratchet sprinklers. And I bet they make some that shoot far enough. If I ran a row down the center here and tied them all together with a trash pump or something in that pond to draw water and have an irrigated hayfield. I was thinking of that as I was back there mulching around. It's like, I got a water source here. We could irrigate this if we really wanted to, but that'd be kind of dumb. But it'd be kind of cool at the same time. I could say, hey, I got irrigated out. I got irrigated hay. I'm big timing it. But anyway, speaking of hay, we got some we gotta go rake. Okay, we'll grab the super real quick. Actually, I should check the fuel in it. It should be good because I haven't done much with it. That tractor doesn't hardly use any fuel. Get the old dipstick. More than enough for what we're gonna do. That can just stay on there. I'm gonna get hooked up real quick. And looks like the rake could use some grease. And I gotta move the drawbar over because that's still set from when I was raking straw and I forgot to move it back. So I gotta put it back over where it belongs. And we can get out of here. Well, I tell you what, I really do love this hay mix that I bought from Wyckoff. Not just because, you know, I like the Wyckoff stuff, but it makes for some really nice, pretty hay. It retains color really well. I don't know what variety of alfalfa they blend in with it, but that stuff holds on to leaves like crazy. The leaf retention on that stuff is awesome. I was raking in fourth gear, like half throttle, which is, I mean, it's clipping along, and I didn't knock a single leaf off. Like I say, leaf retention on that stuff is amazing. Even oh, sorry, even that second cutting where I had to rake it 3 times after it got rained on, I never beat a single leaf off of it. Like I say, the leaf retention on that alfalfa variety they put in here is amazing. But and the windrows were bigger than I thought they'd be too, so that's nice. So hopefully we get a few more bales off here than we did for second cutting. I think we should. So, and I guess I have to issue, because I've been made aware since the last video uploaded here a few hours ago. I've had several people make me aware that I made a very serious fuck up when I was talking about the lime. Yes, lime raises pH. It does not lower pH. I don't know how I screwed that up. That being said, back when I was in college, lime and pH was the one thing that I absolutely hated in my soils class, because there was, you got buffer pH, or Socorro buffer pH, you got soil pH. The buffer pH is only used in certain soil types in certain areas. There's some areas of the country where they do lime recommendations based off of buffer pH, and there's some areas where they don't use buffer pH at all. People won't even know what it's just. I hated soil pH and liming. I love the rest of the soil fertility stuff, and when I'm sitting down doing my own soil recs or fertility recs and stuff, I always have to go back and look up, okay, which way does lime go. So you guys were right, I was wrong, I fucked up, and I also misread the soil test report. My boss gave me the recs for it, because he can run it through his computer program and it spits crap out at him, so he just did the recs for me. So I just glanced through the soil test report real quick, and I'm not used to the way these new reports are laid out. I used to do all my soil testing through A&L Labs, and I think they're in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and now I get all my stuff, since I'm working for Brian now, I get all my stuff through Brookside Labs in, what's the name of that town? It's in Ohio. I can't remember the name of the town now. Anyway, their soil test reports are laid out way more complicated than the old A&L reports I'm used to looking at. And I looked at the buffer pH for that field, which was 6.9. I should have looked. I didn't see the actual soil pH that was 5.3, which is why they had 2 tons of lime going on it. So, like I say, I was wrong. You were right. So now I got to deal with the fallout from that crap for the next couple days, because I'm sure that there's going to be some people that take advantage of it. But I made my bed, now I get to lay in it, I guess. And there's a certain demographic that watches the channel that really enjoys watching when I fuck up like that. So I guess that video can be for them. So anyhow, I have to get everything back and put away. And this should have no problem making tomorrow. I rolled up a few... Well, I rolled up a few little small green spots like that, but that's on top now, so it'll dry just fine. And we should have no problem baling tomorrow. Obviously tomorrow's Labor Day. Boss said stay home, so in the morning I'll pop the duals off the 1950 or off the 1950T and get that ready to go. And I'm probably going to get the head put on the 7300 and move that over to Mom and Dad's, so I can start working on that Tuesday. And I got a few other odds and ends, and then tomorrow, probably by early afternoon, I'll be able to make this. I shouldn't have to wait too long after lunch. So anyhow, with that being said, there's my correction statement from the last video, and that should take care of that, and we're all squared away. So that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.